Hey, what's up everybody? How y'all doing tonight? It is Tuesday, the last day of November, and we are on the very last HoloX debut reaction stream. Sorry, I'm really tired today. It was a bit of a long day at work and my brain's kind of frazzled. But it's an extra long day. Oh, hello. We have a newcomer here. Hello, Vian. I can't read Japanese, unfortunately, so I can't read your name. But hello, you're welcome to the stream. We are just here to check out the very last debut stream for Iroha, the very last member of HoloX, and this marks the 5th day and the 5th stream. It's been a while. I'm tired. I'm a little loopy today. Anyhow, I don't want to keep y'all hanging on this, so let's go right in. Let me see. Click display here. Pop this out. There we go. You bought 3 cartons of eggnog and regret it. I hope you don't mean you tried them all at once. That's a lot of eggnog, my man. And also, is it a little early to get? Well, I guess it's not too early to get eggnog at this point. I want some eggnog. I should get some. Maybe not 3 cartons worth. 1 carton. 1 carton of eggnog sounds perfect right now. I should do that later. But that's later. Right now, we are checking out the newbie here. So, in terms of, sorry about my phone. In terms of what everybody else has done so far, this is probably the most normal intro we've had so far, right? Like previously, what was it? Chloe had a rather like dynamic boss music style intro, only to lead into what was effectively like a what was it? A parody opener. Whereas this one is like the most conventional one we've seen so far. This one, I can see Iroha using this on like just a casual basis for her regular streams as well, especially for a talk stream. And her general impression for her avatar, it's cute enough, blonde. I see the little like raccoon ears, the leaf. I'll get into more about her background a little bit, especially her headband. This is the most interesting part for me for a really stupid reason, but you'll find out soon enough. But yeah, the transition goes on for a while. She makes her audience wait, leads into this. You're drinking this until you hate eggnog with every fiber of your being for the next 6 months. I can understand that. Sometimes you just need to get it past your system. So, this part, so you heard the intro. It was a bit of like an anime, like slice of life sort of intro. Then she has this. And unfortunately, I can't read Japanese, so I have to like look it up to see what it was about later. It's apparently, she starts off with an apology video. Why? Because the computer is dead. So, you'll find out later that this isn't how her voice normally is. This is pitched up a little bit, I think. Yeah, pitched up a little bit. So it's not quite accurate. And she is lamenting basically the fact that her computer died before she could stream. So luckily, management stepped in. Let me see. Yeah. Management stepped in with a nice and powerful computer for her to handle. And she was able to do the stream that do her debut stream as scheduled, which is great. Unfortunately, this does mean that we don't get a karaoke that everybody else did. I'm wondering if that was like intentional or not. But yeah. This is her actual debut as a live streamer, as a live VTuber streaming. That came out awkwardly. And the very first thing she did when she's supposed to make an apology to her audience is she forgets to turn on the mic. Is this just me, or is there an unnatural number of clumsy girls in this generation? Of absolute dojikos. Wicked, welcome to the stream. Okay, just in time. We barely started.
皆様、
There we
こ
go.
の度は初配信の前に
Oh, let me turn the BGM off on my side.
治るかなと思って叩いて結局壊してしまい皆殿に
Yep, classic VTuber mistake.
殿
I've done it so many times myself.
ただいま
Yesterday, I forgot to switch over to the display screen, so I didn't even show what was going on stream for ages. That was
申し
embarrassing.
訳ございませんでした
But yeah, that's her natural. I won't say it's her natural voice, but this is definitely her normal streaming voice compared to the earlier black and white video we saw.
こんなことがないように努めていきますのでよろしくお願いいたします
And she's apologizing for her mistakes. And the funny thing is, she's not the only one making mistakes on Hollow X, right? On their debut. I'm guessing it's mostly nervousness. But then again, it's Hololive. They're used to having scuffed streams.
本当に壊れるなんて思ってなかったでござる
But yeah, past the apology, she starts having her normal stream,
マイク
and this part
大丈夫
immediately makes it clear like what she's supposed to be, right? She is supposed to be an old school Tanuki.
あれ風間どこあれあちょっと
Now, in retrospect, it's pretty obvious, right? She has the magical leaf over here that they use to transform. She has clearly Tanuki ears when she finally shows up.
よ
But the thing about the Tanuki in Japanese mythology
はい
is that they're not only known as tricksters, right?
皆殿
And using leaves to transform into other things and
お
trick
待たせ
mortals.
いたしましたでござる
They're also known for their balls, right?
自己紹介をさせていただきます
So with that in mind,
ホロックスの用心棒の風間いろはでござ
that
います
headband design,
以後お見知り
that headband design is a little
お
sus.
願いしますでござる
You tell me, is this supposed to represent what I think it's supposed to represent?
皆殿には大変ご心配をおかけいたしましたでござる今日無事に運営さんからつよつよなパソコンをお貸しいただいて初配信に臨むことができましたありがとうございます
So overall, that's pretty cute so far. I like her general cadence and the dialect she's using.
はいとても緊張しております
The Gozaru, I'm not sure if that's going to persist as long as she's going to persist throughout her entire career. But for now, it's a nice vocal tick. It also puts her in contrast to her more casual gen mates, right? Like she's acting so far as the most say-so of them, the most polite, at least at first impression, right? She transformed her balls into a headband and wore them on her face. What a Chad.
なんだっけ何言おうと思ったんだっけ
I mean, I'm not saying that's what it is. It could just be the like the Tanuki mask over here, right? But knowing what we know about Japanese mythology, especially about Tanuki, and the more let's say the more amusing parts of the lore, it's like we have to make certain guesses, right, about artistic intent.
頑張っていくでござるトレンド1位だよあトレンドってなんあトレンド
A really polite voice, really positive sort of speech. She kind of reminds me of Noelle in terms of her cadence, right?
強すぎでござるありがとうございますでござるトレンド1位
Like there's some overlap in their characters too. Both are warriors, one Eastern, one Western. Both are, instead of makes you have a proper like katana, which I really like the gradient on this thing, by the way. Yeah, we'll see how that happens. She's also in the crowd. She's also in the hates horror game crowd. So inevitably we're going to see her like suffer a punishment game, a batsu game. That's gonna be fun. But yeah, the really like polite and friendly sort of speech. That's definitely a character that's been done in Hololive before, but you know, they're always cute. What I do know is that this is probably the most normal take so far, especially for a debut stream, right? Even Takai and Louie, like, her nervousness stood out, and also like the sheer amount of stuff she prepped stood out in terms of like how she was addressing the audience, going with a really splashy Ikemen's opening. That was definitely memorable. This so far is a really like normal like self-introduction, right? This is more of her profile. That's definitely her mascot. That's really cute. Her overall design is also really nice. Like, it is a Sarashi type, but it doesn't look like it's meant to be. It doesn't look as if it's meant to be particularly revealing, right? Like there's only there's only a tiny amount of cleavage. It mostly just looks like she's been hard at work training martial arts, and some of this like could be seen as like religious religious accessories, a bit mysticism. The skirt is a really nice design. The details, it's not too much details that would drive people nuts to try to cosplay her, but it's just a really nice like complementary tone and style, right? And she's supposed to be a musclehead of the group, so having like more flowing athletic wear instead of like the heavy leather or like heavy jackets and everything else that we saw with the others makes sense. She looks like she can actually just like run around the thing and feel comfortable doing so. And also, she just reminds me of Okita from Fate Grand Order a lot. Like they could be sisters. You could call this like a spring skin. It wouldn't surprise me. June 18th. 156 centimeters means she's about 5'1". Yeah, it's just a nice and comfortable design. I don't think it stands out nearly as much as her gen mates, but she's not supposed to stand out like in the same way in the first place. It's still really like, I wouldn't call it elegant, but I would call it like, I guess fresh is the best way to put it. It's more of a countryside design, right? Which she's supposed to be a country bumpkin in the first place, right? She's coming to the big city to help out, like, because she got hired as muscle for a big organization or like evil organization. She's mostly an outsider to the more urban culture, whereas the rest of them look like they would go clubbing every night. She had to be introduced to the idea of clubbing in the first place. More old school, but not like stubbornly so. Watame approves. And her mascot just... We're going to see plushies of this. It's going to sell really well, because it's just fundamentally a nice and friendly looking design. Game pass on this. This is her likes and dislikes. This is actually a little surprising. She does in fact play like proper FPSs along with the usual stuff. She's a huge FF14 fan. You'll find out that out in a second. But she likes Valorant, D4DJ as well. She's watched enough anime that Naruto's on the list and knows that it's Naruto, not Boruto. I had an argument with a colleague about that. The guy hasn't seen enough anime. He loves Boruto. Unfortunately, I just can't read the rest of it. That's kind of sad. But it's generally a good range of interests. The trap is not surprising. SAO. I don't exactly have the most positive impression of Sword Art Online, but you know what? If she likes the style, I can't really say anything about it. She is apparently a very good Minecraft player, though. And we all know what Hololive is like with Minecraft. So we are probably going to be seeing a lot of build streams from her, and especially when they have their yearly athletic festival, which has gone only bigger and bigger with every single iteration. That's going to be really fun to see. The Valorant side of things, who in Hololive even plays Valorant that often? Not many that I can think of. It's not as if we don't have FPS players, but they all play Apex. Maybe she can convince Toa to switch allegiances for a bit. That would be interesting. The likes and dislikes I have to go for translations later to check out, because I don't... Yeah. Let me see. Can you pass all that? Yeah, she talks a lot about her likes and dislikes, as you can see. That's what I'm hearing too. And also, the artist for Progressive is generally pretty damn good as well. Himura Kaseki is known for a lot of things. A lot, if you get what I mean, big things. But he also draws just generally a really high level of art. And the story is not written by the original author. So they bypass a lot of the more problematic aspects of the writing. And by problematic, I don't necessarily mean like issues of like social progressivism or anything. I just find the writing style to be really, really lame. Like really lame. But Progressive, I heard, fixes on that. So once they have a couple novels out in English, I'm pretty sure, what's their name? Yen Publishing is probably going to release Progressive in English. I'll check it out. I'll take the hit. I'll take the financial hit. Read a couple books. I'll know what my general impression of it is. But like the original series, I just couldn't stand the writing whatsoever. Like I understand why it would be popular. I just seriously disagree with the actual like text itself and the style of it. If you want to understand like, oh god, don't talk to me about 16.5. let's pretend that doesn't exist. But if you want to get a general gauge of the sort of writing I do like, Ian M. Banks of the Culture Sci-Fi Novel Series, and of course Terry Pratchett. That's my golden standard. Granted, it's it's a very, very difficult standard to meet. And I'm willing to lower it to like enjoy like novels. But I can't stand the sort of people that just writes like Gary Stews all over the damn place. We're talking about what she's talking about right now. She likes Iroha likes Sword Art Online, and I'm just complaining about the fact that I can't stand its writing quality. But yeah, likes, dislikes, the anime she likes, the manga she's into. She likes FF14. She's a big Minecraft player, so we're expecting a lot of Hololive Minecraft streams from her in particular, especially once her collab period, her collab band's month-long collab band is finally over. She'll probably be heavily recruited by the various construction firms in Hololive. And then, past that, we're going to see her play a lot of Final Fantasy XIV. There's a reason why it's highlighted in red, and that reason is that she's a freaking huge fangirl. She has an entire slide dedicated just to Final Fantasy XIV. Oh yeah, Isekai. Isekai. If I were to go on Isekai rant, it would take a solid 30 minutes of complaining. So I'm going to avoid that because I just want to focus on the fun part of this right now. She likes the Final Fantasy XIV story a lot. I actually have a Final Fantasy XIV account that I keep on paying a monthly for and keep on forgetting to play. I should really get around to that, especially with Endwalker around the corner. But it's also so much work. I used to run with a World of Warcraft raid guild as well. That was back in the Karazhan days, man. Frickin' hunters. Frickin' hunters. But yeah, she's not the only one of her generation that is into Final Fantasy XIV, except her colleague in that obsession, Takaya Louie, is mostly in it for the twins. Yeah. You hear that? You hear how her speaking cadence speeds up while she's talking about like Final Fantasy XIV? She's really into that game. She can't even avoid like expressing how she's into that game, right? She's a total nerd about it. You can tell that by cadence alone without actually understanding the words they're saying, because some things are just like unavoidable to in her expression.
書簡誌風間のことを
Talking here about her artist, Kazama
ご
Mama,
紹介させていただくでござる
Boizumi Sensei, the art she's done. You can definitely tell they have similar lineages just based off the eyes alone. I find a lot of anime style artists, the best overall way to recognize between various styles, and especially with anime. She might be. I'm not sure what it would sound like in Japanese, but I would not be surprised because that is the #1 meme you'll find amongst Final Fantasy 14 players. But speaking of the art, especially the artist, eyes in particular tend to be a bit of an unwritten signature for artists, right? You can generally tell, even with the anime style, like sharing and downplaying certain characteristics, that there's very much a very defined orthodox school of how the face is structured, how it's proportioned to the rest of the body, how hair is done in particular. A lot of anime art, especially at the professional level, looks a lot alike, right? But you can almost always tell who the artist is just by looking at the eyes alone. And her eyes in particular are really, really distinct and detailed. I really like this overall spread of it. Like, this is just a really cute outfit in general. I like the little wings here that looks like half-eaten leaves. Fits with the leaves in her hair. The sword is just a really nice design. I like the color gradient over here. This is kind of sexy. The body outfit here, the half bodysuit, and the shoulder wrappings here. It's like a really attractive, athletic look, which is fitting because she's supposed to be the muscle of the organization, right? The bodyguard. These little details here are very important. This is probably the most detailed aspect of her overall outfit, and combining this with the shirt makes it look fancier than it would normally be, right? That's why accessorization is so important, because they present so much of the overall identity, right? It makes it much. It's the one or two details like that really elevates a costume from being like a generic NPC to a player character. This is Kefi Kazama Papa. Kefi, I will show. Actually, I'll pause right here. Kefi in particular really loves showing off their rigging capabilities, and granted, they have every reason to because they're one of the best in the business. Like, look at this. This is just showing off. The wind blowing, the leaves moving by. The sword slash cutting, bisecting the leaves twice. And this is the most interesting part. That's a copyright stamp from 2016. So, I'm not sure if that was deliberate. That raises the question: how long has this model been the back burner, or has he just been reusing the same stamp for all of his stuff since 2016? I have my suspicions there, and that suspicion is that he's just reusing it. It's not a hint as to anything about how long term that Hololive's been planning. I'm saying this mostly because a lot of the animation tricks he's using with her model were only formalized since about 2020. So I'm willing to bet, was there any sound to this? No. Yeah, the way it sways and moves, a lot of the details that he adds, that I'm not even sure if Kefi is a he, but a lot of the details that Kefi adds into the sample over here, I don't think anybody has figured out how to do in 2016. So I'm guessing that the copyright stamp here is simply a reuse from previous projects. Because it'd be really, really weird if it was already that advanced at the time.
はい、パパ殿の名前はケッピー殿でござる。いっぱい 動きたい風間のわがままをすごいたくさん
Also, nothing about her appearance
とってもすごいパパなので
is similar, shares any like major characteristics with the overall style of the 2016 VTuber models, right? Like we're talking about like
アキロゼ先輩
even pre-Kizuna Ai
コ
era.
コ先輩ポルカ先輩
And definitely before Sora. And Sora's original models are really crude looking too.
ご担当いただいてますね。
Yeah.
はい、ぜひぜひチェックでござる。
So I wouldn't read too much into the year stamp.
ちなみにポニーテールでござるな。これ見て。
Yeah, she really loves her
見て
ponytail.
見て見て見て見て見て見て見て見て見て見て見て。
That's really cute.
すごいでござるよな。この髪の毛。本当にすごいでござる。パパ殿本当にありがとうござ
My
います。
rig also did a lot with my hair. Check this out.
はい。ぜひね、ツイッター。
I can actually turn up the physics on this, but I kind of don't like it swaying all over the place at the slightest like movement from my head.
素敵な配信画面、そして風間のロゴを
This is the person that did the overall design. Like she did a really good job. It's really complimentary.
なご殿でござる。いや本当にありがとうございました。なご殿。
Like this is a really good UI, not UI,
お願い
overlay design, right?
ね、お手紙書いたでござるよ。もうすっごくわかりにくかったと思う風間の要望。でも
And of course, like the logo here is just really fitting. It's like a really charming sort of like cartoony look with the little like Tanuki ears over
あり
here.
がとうございましたでござる。素晴らしいのでもうずっと大切に使っていきますでござる。はい。でホロライブ関連のデザインね、複数担当されてるでござる。
Yeah, this looks really solid.
どれもスタイリッシュ。
This is more about her, her,
かどうかしていくか
Yep.
お話ししてい
Huh,
く
Zen
で
and
ござ
physics.
る。まずゲーム配信。
Yep, her overall plan.
配信
Um,
であと
nothing
風間
particularly
は
out of
これやり
place.
たいと思ってるので朝配信。あとは
Given her overlaps with Noelle's character, I'm not too surprised about the ASMR. I feel like she would have pretty good talk shows as well, right? Or talk streams. I don't know what Osake Nomu means though. I need to look that up. Give me a second. お酒飲む。
挑みたいなというふうに思っているでござる。で次企画配信。さっきもちょろっと言ったけど、マインクラフトでゲーム作って
Oh,
いろんな方、まあロック
Sake.
メンバーとか先輩とか遊
She's
んでもらえる
she's talking about
ような
drinking
企画
streams.
立てたいなって思ってるでござる。
Well,
であと
I'm going to guess that especially during the first month where they're not allowed to collab with anybody outside of the generation, she's going to have a couple drinking streams with Takaya Louie. So look forward to that.
思ってるでござる。はーい、次、晩酌配信。まあこれはちょっとマネ殿と相談してね、お酒の強さを見極めていただいてから臨みたいと思っているでござる。
Yeah. Passive streaming
決め
plans.
ていきたいでござるって。
Her tags.
タグ募集して
They are all in Japanese, so I can't help you in translating
アップ
them.
してきたので、ちょっと順番に決めていきたいでござるな。まず配信タグ、
The Oshi mark is the leaves emoji.
出陣、風間稽古中この3つからね、たくさん編んだしありがとうございますでござる。
What is Kiriniku
ぜひね
tag?
ちょっと皆殿の意見を聞かせていただきたいでござるが
Kirinuki rather.
皆殿ね
Kirinuki. Kirinuki. What does that
どれ
translate
が
to?
いいでござるか、その間にちょっと風間お水飲ませていただくでござる。よいしょ。お水をいただき
Clipping.
です。
Oh, clips. That's her clipping tag. Oh, that makes sense.
修行中、稽古中、修行中。
That's convenient.
修行中、出陣。
Yep.
稽古中。
Most of this is properly deciding her fan name. She's set on that.
いろいろ調べて。
Shows me through the 2 art tags over here.
つけて投稿、ツイッター。
Finally, she talks about her gen
紹介す
mates.
るでござる。うんうん。はい、じゃあまずラップ殿。
This is a lot more fun if I can find the proper translations for
と
those.
ても面白い人でござる。発想力があって。
And I think I have a couple of clips of that.
歌ってみたとか。
I don't know why she went back to this.
ソフトはアフターエフェクト。
Let me see.
次。
Oh, yeah.
12月
Her initial streaming plans.
23時から。
There's going to be at least one drinking stream.
でござる。いろいろ考えているでござるが、そうだな。この1日の時。あ、こっちだ。こっちだ。
And then she rounds it out.
はい。このワイプとか自分で作ったでござる。うん。
So, I would say that of the lot so far, she's definitely the most conventional, right? I wouldn't say ordinary because you're not ordinary if you can make it to Hololive in the first place. But she's definitely the most conventional personality-wise and design-wise. Not like, in contrast to the rest of Hollow X, there's no particularly dark mood to her, right? She's all light green and blonde hair and bubbly and really like calming sort of like presence, right? Which means that she's a straight man. She is the assigned straight man for the entire rest of the clown fiesta that is Hollow X. Starting with this.
こう誰だ今のこう誰だお前いつもやるなお前ほんで風間がよイケボ出してた時も新人メスの顔してたからな
That's one hell of a translation. I'm not sure if it's wrong.
キモいな練習してきたでござる
Let's see. Chloe, especially, I feel like is going to have the most. Is going to be the most common counterpart to Iroha's straight man act. Most of you probably heard this sequence yesterday. Basically, Iroha promised to spank her if Chloe didn't wake up for her stream on time, which because Chloe's very much a masochist, gets her very excited.
坂本いつになったら起きるでござるかいくらなんでも寝すぎでござる起きないとお尻ペンペンでござるよってねツイートしてくれました本当にねいろはちゃんってすごい優しくて本当怒るタイプでもなんでもないんですけどめちゃくちゃねこの時ばかりはねポンポンって感じだったからはっきり言って興奮しました
Yeah, that's not a mistranslation.
叩いてってもっといいよって言おうと思ったけどあんまこういうこと言うとよくないんですかね
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't be.
連絡来たらやめますね
No, Hololive managers completely use this bullshit.
興奮す
This
る
is not even close to marine stuff.
ちょっと新しく目覚めちゃったかなって夢の扉開けちゃったかなって
Oh no. That's a terrible woman.
あとはなんか風間に叩かれたいらしいでござる
Chloe's troubled.
これに関してはちょっとよくわからないでござる正直
Yep. That is very important for group dynamics, right? Like, I kind of get a feeling that Iroha alone probably won't necessarily get the most traffic of the girls, at least initially. This might change over time once they start to really get their reputations down. But right now, her role in the group is to be the contrast, the straight man. Not the butt of the jokes. I think Chloe's going to more than welcome being the butt of the jokes for various reasons. And La Plus is going to be the butt of jokes seemingly against the will, but also that's the engineered dynamic between them. But in order for that to stick properly, you need somebody to contrast all of that off. You need somebody that's a little more on the ordinary side, if still willing to get caught up in the mood of things and get out of hand, occasionally. I thought that Takai Louie was going to be that case, but she's more of like a closet pervert amongst a lot of them. Whereas Iroha is probably the purest of them, at least in terms of initial personality. And so I suspect that the one say-so member of Hollow X is there just to highlight how much of a mess the rest of them are. And this is the nature of her apology video at the very start. She hit her computer and broke. Truly a musclehead.
ご迷惑をおかけしまして本当に申し訳ございませんでした。
Whoops. And finally, what does she think about her general?
同期のね皆殿を紹介するでござる。はい、じゃあまずラプ殿はとっても面白い人でござる。発想力があって天才でござるよ本当に。ラプ殿の発想力は天才だと思ってるでござる。結構面白いことね。
Plus definitely demonstrate her visual her video editing skills. Interesting that she also plays Valorant. So I guess we get to see La Plus with some gamer moments. It's like got by the baby.
とか言ってよく舐めた口聞いてくるでござる。赤ちゃんなのに舐めてるのはねダメでござるな。あとは野菜も食べてほしい。そう食の種類が合わないとかね配信で言われてたでござるが、ラプ殿がなんか野菜食べなさすぎでござる。野菜も食べてほしいでござる。
That's cute. Basically treats her little sister.
Okay.
どれがいいでござるか。その間にちょっと風間お水飲ませていただくでござる。よいしょ。お水おいしい。よし。
That's cute. But yeah, cute overall. Definitely the most conventional, but also being conventional plays an extremely important role in that group dynamic in the first place. Like you have an arrogant little brat, you have like a closet pervert, you have the mad scientist that's very not a closet pervert. That's a bit of a sadist. And then you have the masochistic killer whale. You definitely need a straight man to make them all like jive properly. It's an important part of any proper Japanese comedic routine, and that is in fact Iroha's role. Now obviously every single generation has their guaranteed successes, and the member of the generation that struggles the most in terms of like gaining viewer popularity. But in general, I feel like the ones that tend to struggle the most publicly are still one of the most important in terms of keeping the group dynamic cohesive. And I don't see any reason why she would necessarily fall too far behind, right? Like, you see the dynamic in like Hollow English and Generation 1 even. You saw this dynamic in Generation 5. Like, there's always somebody whose role is less about being the superstar of the group and more about making sure that the group itself is a group, right? Has its own like identity as like a found family of sorts. And that could be a role that's taken up by more than one person in general. But I kind of feel that Iroha plays an important role in making sure that the group dynamic as like this like slightly loony family of like evil organization, mad scientists, and like chuny little girls, like isn't just a bunch of crazy people acting together, but like a family learning to get along with and get into hijinks with their various dysfunctions, which I think is cute. It's really, it makes for a very nice like slice of life sort of personality, right? And I appreciate that. Now, unfortunately, Iroha doesn't seem as if she's going to be interacting with the English community too much outside of collab streams, of course. So I'm going to guess that the fun stuff when she interacts with Eris and everybody else living in Japan, so that we can actually get to know her as the Western community, we'll have to wait all the way into January 2022 before we really get to know these girls. And that's just like the limitation of the form, right? Definitely the standouts for me, though, in terms of who I'm most interested in following into the coming months, La Plus is obvious. Like, beyond how they're portraying themselves as characters, the fact that she managed to cram in so many quality videos and demonstrations of her talent in just 30 minutes. Kind of want to see what she can do with more time and comfort with her audience, right? I'm not sure necessarily she'll be my favorite, but she's definitely the most standout role of the whole lot of them. And the fact that she can rap pretty damn well for a relative newbie. Oh boy, yeah, Kosaka Mama and her girls. Yeah, I'm still not quite sold on Kosaka, but Millie is definitely really fun. If you haven't seen her interactive streams yet, where she plays mini games with her chat, that's impressive. That takes, I know for a fact, a lot of prior planning and preparation in order to execute as well as she does. And of course, I just watched a lot of Stellan because Stellan's crazy. I love that. I love that freaking purple hair dragon. Fully ready to admit, that girl is crazy. I'm going to follow her into hell. Let me see. The other one standout, of course, was Koyori. Chloe is definitely a bait for certain teenage dudes. That amount of cuteness is a dangerous weapon, and she's absolutely using it to devastating effect. But the sort of girl that's cute and knows it and likes to tease you about it like Koyori does, kind of into that. Kind of into that. I'm willing to see how much of a yandere that little mad scientist can be. So yeah, this has been overall fun. The girls have been fun to follow. And now the coming weeks we're going to just see how good they are as VTubers, as content creators, as singers, especially since I guarantee they're going to be over the 100,000 threshold. Well, honestly, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Hololive has basically done away with their internal goal thresholds for when to produce 3D models for Hololive girls, right? I think at this point it's simply a waiting line issue. It's a pipeline issue. Everybody they've debuted so far has easily broken the number. Well, since Generation 4, every single one of their talents has broken the 100,000 threshold at day 0. Which means that, but making a proper 3D model, especially for a new talent that's unproven, takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort, and takes a lot of fine-tuning. We've seen on the Hollow Stars side what happens if what collaborators would you like to see them with? I would like to see some Valorant collabs between them and some of the more traditionally Apex players, just to see how they play out in different FPS situations, especially with dedicated Valorant players to guide them and get them used to the system, right? Like it takes with any team-based game. So Ollie sounds like a lot of fun. Ollie also just has really good Japanese in the first place, so that'll expanding Ollie's harem, who I'm sure will be really, really amusing. This is going to be really annoying for our ears, but potentially really funny. A Luna Laplace collab. I want you to imagine a Luna and Laplace collab. And part of you, I guarantee, is already cringing. And yet, you and I both know you would pay money to see the result of that. It's hard to keep a straight face right now. That's either going to be really, really conventional and lovely little stream, or it's going to be really, really, really annoying. And for an out of sheer curious horror, I want to see what happens if you put Marine and Chloe in the same room for an hour. You may not be able to get a whole hour's worth of YouTube-friendly streaming, but I kind of want to see what the results of that initial conversation will be. I like my chaos, man. I like my chaos. And Chloe Marine sounds like an interesting level of chaos. Who else? I feel like a Hot Springs visit, an off collab Hot Springs visit between Louis, Iroha, and the usual guests, the usual crew that do Hot Spring streams. Sounds like a really nice and calming time. It just sounds like a really nice way to like have the more senior girls in the company like hang out with the newbies and just get along and relax and try out some sake and do Twitter spaces that drive men's imaginations wild. But otherwise outside the Twitter spaces just sounds really nice and lovely. And what else? No, that's pretty much it. Now, the caveat here, of course, the caveat is that we've only had less than 24 cumulative hours of total actual streams from the whole lot of them combined. Which means that we don't actually understand their personalities yet. We just understand the lore they've given us and the peaks as to their actual personality that we've seen so far. Which means that everything we've experienced here, all my guesses of how they would interact with the other groups, all of that big old asterisk mark next to all of it, we don't actually know how that's going to be in 2 weeks, and especially after the month-long collab ban with the other generations and the rest of the VTubing environment. We don't know if this Say So Little Samurai, for instance, we don't know if it could be that she's the biggest pervert of all them all. It'll take a while to find out. But hey, that's why we're here, right? Like, part of the fun, especially with these corporate VTubers, especially with Hololive, is that they started with a character, and then as time goes by, none of them have been able to help from having their actual personalities leak out and color the rest of it, either completely destroying your initial impression of it, or elevating them to an interesting level and interesting direction. And it's not as if even the ones with the best capability of keeping their character intact throughout situations can last through a cooking collab with Hachama. Like, from Generation 4, Luna is probably the best one in staying Luna at all times, right? The character Luna, the spoiled little girl, the spoiled baby princess. And yet, it took just some really, really questionable takoyaki for that mask to slip. So, if Hololive wants to keep it interesting, any other newbie should just be forced to do a food collab. Takai Kali, Iroha, and Choco personally, that's definitely interesting. Oh. Yeah. Also, Kali will probably want to have a rap collab with LaPlus. But yeah, I'm just saying, if you really want to know a VTuber, force him to do a food challenge stream, a food challenge collab with somebody that is absolutely going to drive them mad with despair, with their cooking skills or lack thereof. Unfortunately, on my side, I cook really damn well, so I can't play the Hachama role. And I also eat everything, so I can't really be challenged in that regard. So getting to know me, so you're all just lucky that I don't try to hide my personality too much online. Like, I will willingly eat a scorpion, a dried scorpion at least, if given the opportunity, just to know what it's like. But also, like, hand me the hot sauce so it's digestible. preferably something with a little more kick than a Tabasco sauce. Just my personal preference. Anyhow, that was fun. And so, let me see. Let me switch over to free chat. So before the hot drop for Hollow X landed on us, I said that there was going to be a Smash tournament this weekend. I was wrong. It's actually on December 11th. That's my bad. I will probably be doing some practice streams along the week though. Although frankly, yeah, Hashama's definitely eating dried scorpion before Dracon. She's dumped it into some soup. She's also, I believe, had crickets, spiders. Honestly, as long as you remove the tail, it's not that scary. Like Wicked said, fried some lemon, some salt. That's probably quite edible. It's probably no different from honestly eating soft shell crab. Well, probably tastes a little different, but still. I've only tried most things at least once. Can't really say you hate it until you tried it. And honestly, insect protein is, for the most part, insect protein doesn't taste that much in the first place. They're supposed to be like relatively taste neutral. Challenging a person you know to Brawlhalla, that sounds like a lot of fun. Except I don't really play Brawlhalla, so I don't know how that game. Well, I've seen it played in a tournament once. Doesn't seem like quite my sort of game, but I appreciate what it's going for. I'm probably not going to stream for a couple of days just to relax a bit, because frankly, waking up at 5 every morning to take notes on these debut streams has really worn me out a little bit. But I do want to prep for the Smash tournament. I'll show you what I've been working on. And of course, I still want to do Guilty Gear. There's actually a Guilty Gear VTuber only tournament this week, but frankly, I am too exhausted to properly practice Guilty Gear, and frankly, I'm a little stuck on floor 7 right now. Little stuck. I still need to work on my fundamentals and get some coaching time with my friend. And of course, there's Xenoblade 2 that I still want to work on. However, the most interesting thing I can tell you right now, you've probably seen it on my Twitter. By the way, it's up here. Up. Here. Let me use myself as a pointer. No. Come on. All right. Let me use my hit down over here as a pointer. There. Yeah, you should be following me on Twitter and TikTok anyhow. Like up here. But on December 9th, I have the Game Awards official approval to be a co-streamer. I don't know how the hell I managed that. There are less than 200. I have last I checked, approximately. Oops, that's what I'm clicking on. Approximately 228 subscribers on this channel, and yet they've approved of me. I'll take it. I'll take the win. So I will be doing a co-stream of the Game Awards on December 9th, and may have a co-host. And most of you will probably know who that co-host is. Hint, hint. I'll tell you more as soon as I can, because we still have to do some planning for that. So, regardless of anything else happening this week and next, please, for love of God, watch the Game Awards with me. We'll cheer, we'll jeer, and we'll definitely be salivating over the game announcements. And let anybody else that might be interested know that I will be doing so this upcoming week. Also, it'll be my birthday on December 6th. I still don't know what to do. It's a Monday. I'm going to be working. I don't know. Oh, no, I know what to do. Arcane talk. I don't know if Arcane's going to be mentioned on December 9th. Yeah, the Game Awards. The Game Awards on December 9th. Let everybody know. Let them know that I'm doing a cold stream. Follow me on Twitter. Show them my Twitter. I have seen the nominees. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about when they show up. I don't want to ruin my. I don't want them to suddenly resend my cold streaming access. Let's not ruin a good thing, right? Before it happens. Let's ruin it while it's happening. But yeah, I very much have. Okay, yeah, that I'll talk about. The Guilty Gear Strive soundtrack not being nominated does in fact piss me off, but I kind of see why. I agree, it's a freaking masterpiece. Daisuke should get an award, but that's my bias. But we're talking about game soundtracks in particular. What they're talking about is not just like actual like individual songs being played, but also like the game soundtracks, like how it interacts with the overall game ambience, the game world, sets the mood for certain scenes. And let's be fair, a fighting game soundtrack isn't designed to do any of that. It's designed to make the round hype. Like, I fully agree that if I were to vote for it, if I were the one to put it there, I would put Guilty Gear Strive's soundtrack up there. But I also understand why nobody else in the industry might agree with that. It's unfortunate, but that's just how it kind of is. They're working off different paradigms. But yeah, I'll try to get as much news as I can before the stream starts. In the meantime, absolutely follow my Twitter. Let everybody else you know that's into gaming know that I will be co-streaming, that there's a VTuber co-streaming that's officially co-streaming the Game Awards. Let them all know. Leave a comment down here on this. Yeah, no, you're totally right. The soundtrack works so well with GD Strive, but also it's individual character songs. They're not like playing to the world or anything. Kind of sucks, but that's how it is. I understand why, I just don't agree with it. But yeah, follow, subscribe, leave a favorite, leave a like, leave a comment, let them all know. December 9th will be fun. December 6th will probably just be playing with Legos, honestly, because I kind of bought like this really nice like bonsai Lego tree that also has a Sakura Blossoms mode to it. So during the spring, I could just like replace the green with pink, with like pink flowers. So it becomes like a little bit of like a Minecraft bonsai looking thing. Anyhow, that'll be on December 6th when I'm officially too old Redux. Until then, thank you for following along. This was a lot of fun. A new generation for Hololive especially is going to be really interesting. Increasing like the dynamics of their content and their obviously the collab dynamics is always great. I look forward to seeing more, and I also look forward to whatever the hell Nichi-Sanji is planning to announce in December as well. Hopefully we'll be learning more about that soon. I don't know what it is yet. I have my suspicions. But until they announce it properly, we're just going to have to wait and find out. I'll be waiting along with you. Hopefully they won't be hot dropping like Hololive, or else I'll get no sleep whatsoever this month. Until then, my friends, as always, take care of yourselves and eat well.